All right, so that was Midnight in a Perfect World by DJ Shadow. I guess that's kind of apropos to play today because look at my eye, like this all crooked. You know, I broke my nose, so my glasses, kind of set funny on my face. They're never symmetrical. Plus, I have the hat on, which makes it bump up back here. But I'm wearing the hat for Charles from Project Camelot. So yeah, this is my French hat. My little beret. Maybe I should get like another color. So let me see. There's some stuff going. Hi, Karen Ann McDonald. Nice to see you. Good luck. Very, very Parisian. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes. I've always loved berets. Ever since I was in high school. I'm kind of bouncing here because I just sort of have this on my pillows. I'm getting lazy the last few days. I'm like, I just want to sit in my bed and do it. Mainly because I am in college now, and I finally had a minute. So sometimes I just feel like, oh, okay, so I'll do a live stream. If you'd like to support my college fund, I do have a little ticker tape going on right now. I do take one-time donations at hollywoodhemptress@gmail.com. And then there's my Venmo on the screen as well. So please do support me there. I will be uploading this video most likely to my Spotify in a video form and in an audio form after I live stream it here. So it'll have another replay there. All right. So I'm going to start out today with showing some stuff about James Rink really quick. And this is in response to a live stream that I did about a month, maybe 6 weeks ago, about a documentary that Oki did. He has a channel here on YouTube as well. It's in that other video, but he did a documentary titled How I Infiltrated a Bizarre Conspiracy Cult. And the video that I'm going to play right now is actually, I have to look at it again to see whose channel it is, but it's one of the guys that James Rink has featured in his Super Soldier Forum or Super Soldier Talk YouTube channel. And they are debunking the Oki who did the documentary, and I wanted to share that footage with you. Oh, that was a good one. Yeah. Okay. So you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna get into some stuff here. Yeah. It's very entertaining, and so I'm just gonna leave it open to that. All right. So let me share the screen here. All right. And I just want to make sure that I have it. I'll probably take it off again.
Yeah. So,
okay. So, okay, it's right here. Hold on. Let me just. Okay. Oh wait! Stop! All right. So, I'm gonna try to be fairly objective, like a journalist is supposed to be, like not too harsh, right? Not too, but you know what? I am a comedian, and so I have to be true to that, right? All right, so let us go. All right, here we go.
Hello. Yeah, so James Rink here. I just want to comment briefly about the Oki stuff. So the information that I have about him is that there is a gargoyle attached to his throat chakra. He was remote viewing him. He appears as a 6-year-old boy when he was
he acts like one too, but
okay. I mean, and let's just stop at the just one moment about the gargoyle at the throat chakra. I mean, that's the most shocking information, right? It's like, whoa, and like I've never heard of I've never heard of that before. A gargoyle at the throat chakra, but don't you think it's kind of interesting that that's where he started out? Okay. Also, I wanted to say that this is Thomas Corvitas, and you know what? Just make sure that I put my banner on here, just to be protected. This is fair use, and this is a transformative work. We are educating the public and critiquing the video we are sharing. This is covered under fair use and is allowable by law. All right, so let's go back to the gargoyle in the throat chakra, right? Let's go back to here.
Hold on, let me fix this. So he was abused really badly by his parents, and he's basically
okay. So this is like I'm assuming like this is he's remote viewing him, right? So, right? Am I correct about this? He's remote viewing him, who Oki really is, and he's determined that there is a gargoyle in his throat chakra. Also, what I find interesting is that the other guy, it's his channel, doesn't introduce him. So it's just like, okay, James, you just go ahead and take it away on my channel. So here we go.
Okay.
Again.
hello. Yeah, so James Rink here. I just want to comment briefly about the Oki stuff. So
The Oki stuff.
the information that I have about him is that there is a gargoyle attached to his throat chakra. He was remote viewing him. He appears as a 6-year-old boy when he was.
He acts like one too, but.
Hold on, let me fix this. So he was a.
And it's kind of interesting that he interjects with that, like he acts like one too, like as if it's documentary. And again, it's Oki's point of view. It's you know, he follows a very standard documentary style when he did do it. Like he goes in, he studies it, he talks about them, he sets up all the characters. You know, he talks about how the Super Soldier program came about, the kind of mythology that all the people seem to talk about. He brought up Corey Good. He brought up Captain. What's not Mark Richards is in there. Captain Mark Richards, James Casbolt, also Captain Randy Kramer. All of the characters that have been introduced to us through also Carrie Cassidy and Gaia TV. So really, does that make him be like, because he did that, because he investigated it, because he did he played the devil's advocate in a world, that he is, you know, a 6-year-old for doing that? I mean, okay, anyways, I'll move on.
Was abused really badly by his parents, and he's basically a psychopath now. His parents never paid him any attention, and he feels like
attention whore.
And he feels like doing these type of videos. Basically, he likes to do it because people love his work, and he feels love from him that his parents never loved him. But when he was 6 years old, a gargoyle attached to him, and it's attached to his throat chakra. And so in order to have demonic attachments, you have to have very low consciousness to begin with. He still thinks his gargoyle is his best friend.
Well, I'm going to step it one more time, and then I'm going to shut up. Is he reading something? Like, did he write this down? And now he's repeating it, like as if like it's notes. And he went, you know, okay, right? Watch. I'm just noticing the style, how he's doing it.
So it's the reason why he's so popular, because it's this gargoyle is creates optical illusions and holograms around a person, changing their visual perception. So that way, when he's around other people, it can change his energetic appearance. So that's why he was able to deceive me. But he is part of a group of YouTubers who get paid to do this. I don't get paid to do what I do. I do it because I want to document this very important time.
Okay, but he does get paid what to do, because in the documentary, he takes $200 of cancellation for fees. So he is making money from this. I disagree with that. And I don't think James Rink really has proof that Oki's getting paid for this. Like, he's just saying it. So he's making some sort of argument that, you know, what he is doing is altruistic, and therefore, you know, and, you know, Oki has a gargoyle attached to his throat, which, you know, is probably running his consciousness.
Humanity's history. But yes. So what's that?
He's basically a shill. And maybe, James, what we should do is try to follow his money trail and find out.
Shield, right? So how do they know that? That term gets thrown around way too much in this community. He's probably a shield because you disagree with me and what I'm doing, and you're questioning it or debunking the debunker, then you obviously must be a shield.
To spread its kind of
well, it's looked into. I don't think there's. I think he's just a lone ranger, and he's just lonely and bored in the world, and he latched on to me because I try to be as neutral as possible.
Now he's lonely and bored in the world and latched on to him, and that's what happened, right? You know, he just got latched on, and okay, so here's another narrative to explain what happened about to explain the documentary.
An opportunity, and I guess he thought he could just take advantage of that, but he did get caught. And also, I'm going to mention one other thing too. And then,
he got caught by who? Like, how did he get caught, James?
We can probably go ahead and just move on. He's going to have really bad karma for all this. So doing this stunt is basically set back his personal growth, and he's going to have, it's going to come back to him. But you know, for somebody low conscious like him, I don't really think he believes in karma anyway. But
so he's low consciousness. He has a gargoyle attached to his throat, and he's going to have really bad karma for doing the documentary.
Not only did he insult you, James, he insulted the entire SSP community. Now, you and me, we're pretty restrained, but there's some pretty unhinged people that would have no qualms telepathically attacking this dude. You know that.
So he insulted the entire community because every single one of them that have gone on James Rink's show is really a super soldier. Every person that he's interviewed is an absolute super soldier. Some of them are, you know, unhinged, unlike them, that might psychically come after him. So now, because he's insulted them by doing this documentary, he's, I guess, quote unquote, in danger.
I mean, if he's got a demonic attachment, it's not necessarily him that's doing all this.
It's the gargoyle. It's the gargoyles is responsible for him doing the documentary where he infiltrated them and did a complete story, and James Rink had no discernment about it. That's the whole point of the documentary, James, right? It's like he actually infiltrated, lied, and you still wanted to put him on stage. That's the main point here. Either way, you need to take responsibility for messing up and realizing that you actually, were willing to showcase or offer a showcase to someone who was never really was never really a super soldier. You actually said, come to this convention. Let me put you on camera. I want to interview you. I want to put you part of my super soldier talk forum. And he duped you. All right. How psychic are you? Like, how much of a remote viewer are you if you couldn't tell that he had a gargoyle attached to his throat in the first place?
Meantime,
you know that, and I know that, but you understand, like, there's certain people in our community who don't care and, would have no problems ripping this guy's mind apart.
We have so many communities right now. Like, CW Chanter goes, this community is his community, or the community he referenced the same community that's over here. I mean, I know we're all interrelated somehow in some ways. Like this super soldier community is connected to the UFO community. It's almost like SSP. Now it has an acronym. Is a derivative of the UFO media.
And like I said, he effectively pissed off like probably several thousands.
So we are now at several thousands of super soldiers that are out there that are pissed off at this documentary filmmaker.
Yeah, people in our
There's also, if you also go on the video, there's a lot of comments. There's a comment here from a Stone Viking. He's basically stating that that he's thinking about creating a fun, deep role play. He wants to set up a infiltrated group that believes in magic and claim to be a fallen angel, and thinks he can infiltrate and create a full-blown cult. So he's working with a bunch of people that are they're trying to repeat this to other organizations and groups, disclosure groups, and we're trying to wake humanity up, let them know that you've been lied to, and those people are a bunch of NPCs.
Is that the objective of the Super Soldier program right at this point? Like, I mean, maybe that's James Rink's objective, but do you think that that's what everybody that came forward and was doing what they were doing, is that they are this great these humanitarians that are now for the benefit of humanity? That they are, they've got these special psychic and healing abilities now, and they're like I know someone who thinks that he is practically Jesus Christ, in terms of his DNA, and I dated that guy, so ooh, okay, so you know what I mean? Okay, anyway,
people that are just Matrix. That's all that, I mean, as part of the Matrix, Oki admitted to me that he got vaccinated. So,
well,
all right, again, you realize what he said, right? And again, I've got my own feelings about this, all right? But realize that he is using it as a derogative against his credibility by saying, I heard. Did you hear that? I want to play it again one more time, because it's both sides are doing it, right? Or both sides of the thought. Some people want to say it's left wing, right wing, but the left thinks one thing if you haven't, and the right thinks one thing if you have. So, and then even if you haven't, if they don't like what you have to say, they go, well, you're probably that, right? Which I think that's an interesting little gameplay that people use to pump their own credibility up. That is like the ultimate ad hominem. That's like, if you don't have an argument, a real concrete argument against somebody, then what you're going to do is you're going to say that they're emotionally a 6-year-old, and or they went ahead and got so. Let's go ahead and go back. I want to do that one more time.
Humanity up, let them know that you've been lied to, and those people are a bunch of NPCs, non-player character,
NPCs,
low vibration people.
Interesting
that
term.
Are just Matrix. That's all that, I mean, as part of the Matrix, Oki admitted to me that he got vaccinated. So he's going to most likely.
So James, when did he admit that to you? Did he admit it to you like when he did the interview in Vegas, or did he admit it to you after you saw the documentary and he went, oh, by the way, I happen to be that I happen to be blank? I mean, when did he give you that information? What made him feel comfortable to give you his, medical status when you were talking? And how would have that had anything to do with him talking about being a super soldier? Is James even just saying that because he is using that as getting an upper hand and to like make himself look more credible?
Be gone soon.
Well, Oki, dude, I wouldn't wish this upon my worst enemy, but you're about to suffer a horrible, painful rendering death because he decided to take a jab. You know.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at that, and you can do whatever you want to with this footage, but yeah, go ahead and stop record. Thanks, Thomas. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to stop it right there. I mean, that's really all you need to see. I'm going to go ahead and put his link in the channel, because if you want to subscribe, I mean, I'm not meaning to harm anybody's channel or anything like that. So if you want to subscribe to this guy's channel, if you want to look at the whole show yourself, it is Thomas Corvadia. I might have said his name wrong, so if I did, I apologize. I'm pretty sure it's probably not the most insulting thing I'm going to do about that video anywhere. Okay. So I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts about that? I'm going to just kind of leave that there. It's kind of, I don't see anything in the chat right now, which is like alarming that, you know, I guess like it was, what did you make of that? I find it to be entertaining and an interesting, response, to the documentary. I think it's perfectly okay, and it needs to be done. We need to question what is real and what is not real. I'm by no means am I saying that I know whether or not extraterrestrials are real or not. It is a topic that I delve into. Personally, for me, I'm not really sure. You know, so but I do think it's something worth exploring. Now, who are the super soldiers? What really are we seeing here? What part of it is true? You know, I still don't know either. But it's worth looking at, right? I have to say, I have my people that I think that came out of the super soldier era, the people that I think are closest to being credible, or were the most interesting people to look at in terms of the scene. I would go, and again, I'm not saying they're credible or not credible, but I think the ones that first came out on the scene, where they came from, we don't really know. But I think that if you're going to go into people that were treated as if maybe they were credible, like a CIA augmented, you know, admin, which is what Duncan O'Finian called himself, right? He preferred to call himself that. I remember when I interviewed him, he was like, I'm a you know, CIA augmented admin. He actually did an appearance on Jesse Ventura's conspiracy theory. He did. So it's interesting that Duncan O'Finian kind of went in, got a little bit of a mainstream exposure at the time that he came out on that scene, right? And then you have James Casbolt, right, who married an heiress and had that whole situation happen, and the things that he said. Then we have Max Spears that came out, and again, okay. My thought is that I do think that assassins are possible, right? Obviously, and that some of them are maybe MK Ultra mind control. Not really, you know. I do think that maybe Saran, who shot Robert Kennedy, was possibly, you know, under MK Ultra mind control, or some of those types of assassinations might have involved people who were under MK Ultra mind control. I think that's definitely a possibility. I think that, you know, we know that there was, like I said, a sect of the military that we've seen in film, like the Men Who Stare at Goats, the documentary about the Men Who Stare at Goats, that he was able to stop a goat's heart by his mind. So I think that there are things that we can do with our mind, or that, you know, psychic abilities have been used by the military. But to what extent, really, do we know? Does it encompass James Rink? I think of James Rink, and this is my opinion. And we are all worth having one, right? But I think that he just puts anybody up, and then it doesn't matter if they're telling the truth or not, or if this is if it's real or not. He came out on the scene with everybody else and claimed to be a super soldier. But think about it. Where is it that any of these people, when they say that they did something, really all it is their testimony of them saying it? Even if you're coming out and you're talking about racist and this and that and blah, 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 and this is my research, just because you have research doesn't mean that it's actually the truth. Like I watched this video recently. It was Al Jazeera, or I might be saying it wrong, Al Jazeera English. He did just recently. There was an actor that I guess popular. I don't know who he was, but he was doing one of the shows, and it was like, do aliens really exist? Do aliens exist? And there's a lot of different, like with ancient aliens and the artifacts and the drawings in the past, and people have gone over artifacts like archaeologists and tried, where did the pyramids come from? Where did all these things? What happened? What is the origins and the history of mankind? And have we had extraterrestrial contact? Do they even exist among us right now? And I know that I'm talking to you guys who are like really savvy about this conversation, but let's face it. It's not like, you could talk about Charles Darwin, and Charles Darwin is the closest thing to a scientific theory about the evolution of mankind, if you're going to use it from a scientific point of view. Right? And there's certain things that you have to do to make something a theory. You have an idea of it being a possibility, then you do a hypothesis and you see if your hypothesis come out, and then if it does or doesn't or whatever, and then once it finally comes out repeatedly or whatever, it's a theory. But a theory can always change. A lot of things that are part of our reality are kind of, it's subject to change with new information. All right. So do the people, because I'm thinking, like, what am I doing on my channel? And I'm trying to think, what direction do I really want to go in? And I have different ideas, and I am in this particular media. I feel that I'm doing media reflection on the media. Like it's an analysis of the media that this is, and the authenticity of the things that people say in this media. And, maybe for some people that doesn't make you very popular. At one point I was interviewing a lot of these people, and I was, believing what they were saying. But at some point, and again, I love how when you question, when you actually do the thing that it is to be human, and using your logic and trying not to be, people go, well, you're red-pilled, but you're red-pilled into another theology. You're red-pilled into another belief system. Like the whole thing. And again, red-pilled is part of a Hollywood movie. And then again, this community sits back and goes, oh, well, we hate Hollywood. Those are Luciferians and blah, 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 blah. And they believe in, magic and this and that. But then on the backhand of themselves, they're talking about doing magic. So there's this kind of like a cognitive dissonance in this community. And I would even go to say like a real hypocrisy in this particular media. And it's not doing its due diligence, not to like coin somebody who makes sock puppet accounts, because we know who that is, but they don't do their due diligence in actually really supporting their evidence and coming to the conclusion that that is in fact a real truth. I mean, even like, let's talk about, I'm going to read some of your stuff here. Let's talk about, what was I going to say? Oh, darn it. I lost my mind. I lost my mind. Okay, I lost my train of thought. Okay, let me just Jeff Reed, I'm headed to Mars right after this podcast. They have had another gargoyle reprising. Okay. Me neither. He was never there, Jeff. I think he is a fraud because I've never seen him on Mars. Like he claims he was there many times. From Project Camelot, his reply was vague. By the way, I've never seen him on Mars. He was trying to sell a film script. I think he got busted for ripping off Universal Soldier. Oh. Yeah, you know what? I have to look at that. You're talking about Duncan O'Finian. He was there to sell a script. I'm losing my light. It's colder here today, and the sun isn't as out. All right, so I want to move on. Because I put James Rink up in the front. I want to talk a little bit about Hugh Hefner. And he also has a documentary that came out, although, you know, he's not alive to say that the documentary filmmaker had a gargoyle attached to his neck for exposing what may have really went on at the Playboy Mansion. But I wanted to show it because I thought it was really interesting, and this article and what the documentary is about as well. Nate Gray says Duncan is the real deal. He has X-ray of his chips. I just left them a couple of comments on that video. Oh, okay. All right, so I'm gonna do a share screen on an article that actually is on Yahoo, but